Good evening, and welcome to Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, the Executive Director of Rock Solid Families.
And I'm Merle Hutchinson, President of Rock Solid Families. And we are excited to have you join us for the next 30 minutes as we talk about relationships. A huge shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. We are so thankful for these businesses who have made this show possible. So whether you are listening live or online, Rock Solid Radio, helping to strengthen our community one family at a time on your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3. Good evening. Welcome to Rock Solid Radio. Hey, this is Merle Hutchinson, President of Rock Solid Families, and I'm coming to you tonight with probably... Linda, don't even look at me that way. I mean, this is going to be the worst topic I ever have to cover because you're going to just give me that look the whole time through.
Not me.
Yeah. So, go ahead, say it. Say it, what we're going to talk about.
Well, this is one of...
It's a family problem that I have. I know.
No, we're talking about something I think that is really relevant today, and that is the whole idea of immediate gratification. And
why do you look at me like that?
Because I love you and I can't get enough of you. That's why. So, no, it's really an important topic, not just for adults, but children as well. And as parents, it's important that we really discuss like what to do. How do we help our kids be successful adults? Because that's what our job is. Yeah,
and I laugh at this topic because it is definitely kind of within my DNA to be impulsive. To see something, get excited about it, and want to pull the trigger on either doing it or having it or owning it or whatever. And there's a lot of fun in immediate gratification, but we're going to talk a little bit about the payment today.
And no wonder you wanted to skip the show. So
yeah, I know. Like, let's just go to lunch, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is going to be a great topic. It's going to be a tough topic, but I think we're also going to, parents, we're going to help you out in terms of how we can help our kids with this topic. So this will be good for just the teaching part of what we're doing.
Right. But if you don't have children out in Eagle Country, please don't hesitate to keep tuning in because this is about for all of us. We all need this, not just kids. So definitely, before we get rolling, I want to say thank you to our sponsors for helping make Rock Solid Radio possible. Thank you to Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinema, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. Without your help and support, we could not do what we do, hon, and we're so thankful for them. You know, speaking of being thankful, we're so thankful for the many folks out there who have supported Rock Solid Families. You know, Rock Solid Radio is put on by our sponsors, but also through Rock Solid Families, this ministry that we feel that God has called us to, doing marriage and family coaching, as well as fitness training that you do, hon, six days a week. But we need your prayers and support. Satan would love for us to be taken by the world and kind of do what the world does. But we feel like there is a better way, that there is a more godly way that gives us peace and brings us joy. And so we're hoping that you will help us and support us for what we're doing and what we feel God is calling us to do.
Yeah, and we just do want to take the time to be extremely thankful. Thanks for the sponsors, but just the people that have come behind us, alongside of us. We appreciate that, and we see more of that. Linda, you and I are not doing anything new. There's nothing new under the sun, right? We're not doing anything new. But because of our experience, we're talking the truth that we see from what we've actually seen happening with families. And the state of our family right now is across the country is in disarray. Yeah. And so I think our message just seems to really be hitting home with a lot of folks. And so we need your help to continue to move this message. It's, as we've talked many times before, the healing of this country is not going to happen from the government down. It's got to happen from our homes out.
Yeah.
And so thanks, guys, for sponsoring and supporting and contributing to us with your prayers, with your money, whatever. Just encouraging us.
Yeah. And if you're tuning in to Rock Solid Radio through Eagle Country and you're not familiar with Rock Solid Families, we really encourage you just to go to rocksolidfamilies.org and check it out. And if you would like to support us and help us to further our message and to strengthen this ministry, we would love your financial support as well. You can go to rocksolidfamilies.org and hit the donate button. We would love to have you as a partner.
You know, hon, I want to bring up something in some of our announcements and different things that we do. Yeah, we do the personal training and we do marriage and family coaching and parent coaching. But I don't know, a lot of people may not know that we do team building work.
Yeah, you just got done doing that.
I just thought of that. You know, I've been doing team building exercises for probably 25 years now. I actually started when I was a coach myself, doing it with my teams. But now I've spread out and do that within church settings, school settings, corporation settings. And sometimes that's such a great experience for people because it's kind of like the family. Everybody knows that a family needs to work together well for it to be successful. Businesses and schools and everything, they know that too, but sometimes there's just sort of a weak link or a missing idea that keeps a team from really gelling and coming together. And so that's always a great experience. If you need help with that, both you and I would love to go and serve that
Leadership training, team building, all a huge thing. So, hon, let's get back. If you're just joining us at Eagle Country online or live, we are talking about immediate gratification. So, hon, why this topic? Because I know it's a love-hate relationship for you. You see the importance of talking about it and addressing it, but also this is going to step on some toes, including ours.
Yeah, well, this topic is important for a couple of reasons. We're going to talk a little bit about the parenting side of this, but the reason why this is an important topic is because you have to look at it from the adult perspective. What happens to us after we go through years of being conditioned for immediate gratification, and then we become adults and we find out that there is a price to pay for immediate gratification, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in debt, whether that impulsivity, and so no one's going to deny that there's not some pleasure in getting something now, but we have to be a little bit more mindful of what our flesh is seeking and what we're going to pay for that. Yeah,
remember the days of, when fast food became kind of a known thing and, the drive-through window, and all of a sudden it wasn't fast enough for us. Now we've got, the instant news, the instant credit, the instant delivery, the instant messaging, the instant coffee, the instant photos, Instagram, instant wealth, everybody's trying to win the lottery because that would solve all their problems, and instant relationships. If the relationship doesn't work, they literally
we can do speed dating,
right?
We can do speed dating. And so you and I were actually talking just a little bit ago about the instantness from our phones and from technology. And
our Wi-Fi's not fast enough.
Yeah. Remember dial-up? Remember dial-up?
Ringtone.
Yeah. You've got mail. And so
we're showing our age here, hon.
These are things that now seem ridiculous to us because of how long we waited. And again, like we said, that we're responsible for a lot of this. I love the quickness of the search. I remember doing research when I was in college.
An encyclopedia?
I remember I had a research class that I had to do as a biology major, and we had to go to the library and we had to have sources from places outside of NKU. And so I was doing a research on the sea cucumber. Don't ask me why. Okay, that's a whole different subject.
Your biology studies were...
and it took me about 4 weeks to get an article or two from California.
Right, they had to send it to you.
Yeah, they had to mail it to me. And I think how crazy that is now. Now, within a matter of 3 minutes, I could have thousands of articles from around the world.
Yeah.
And so that instant is something that has made me really not very patient, not accepting slowness.
I remember when my grandmother wanted to get a microwave. And my grandpa would not have of it. He thought it was going to destroy him, and he thought that was ridiculous. Why do you need that? And my grandma was the one that did the cooking, so she thought this was the best thing since sliced bread. But in his mind, this was crazy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So, where does this come from? Well, I mean, we can go back to Genesis 3. And Genesis 3...
You're really going back.
We're going way back here. But this is just a part of the wiring of mankind. We want to know, we want to have, we want to do, right? I want it all now.
And we don't want to wait.
And we don't want to wait. I want it my way. And so that is part of the fleshly desire. And Adam and Eve experienced it right off the bat. God says, hey, here you are in this Garden of Eden. You can have everything that you want, but you can't eat from this one tree, right? And it's the tree of knowledge. And as soon as they were told they couldn't, what did Adam and Eve want?
Well, Satan was the tempter, and we know that Satan still runs in our midst and wants to tempt us. He wants to pull us away from what's best by giving us something what we think is good, but we're missing what's better.
Yeah, and again, that was the very first fall, the fall of man, and the fall of man seeking what he wants versus what God wants.
This reminds me of that marshmallow experiment. Do you remember that?
Oh, yeah. So... Well, we probably better set up the marshmallow experiment a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so
they've even shown this at church, which is so cute.
Yeah, so the marshmallow experiment, it was an experiment that was done like in the 70s, I think like 72, and it was really about the whole immediate gratification thing. And the idea that the researchers were going to bring kids in, and kids were going to be able to sit at this table and with a marshmallow out in front of them. And
which, if you didn't like marshmallows, then you're good.
Yeah, and so basically the kids were told something along the line of, hey, we're going to walk out for a little bit, we're going to be gone, and it was going to be 15 minutes that they were gone. And if the kid didn't eat the marshmallow, when the researcher came back, the kid could get like 2 marshmallows or get a greater reward. And they videotaped this thing.
It was so cute. You can Google this. It's really cute to watch.
Watching these kids, when the researcher would walk out, watching these kids wiggle and bounce and just like, oh my gosh,
like
I
they're
need
touching
that marshmallow.
it. They're like, oh.
Yeah, they're playing with it. They're looking around like, I wonder if anybody's looking. And just seeing what kids would do with that. So there was just a crazy amount of kids who fell. Fell. They grabbed the marshmallow and gobbled it right up. And
okay, so let's be honest. Would that have been you?
That would have been me. Yeah, that would have been me.
Yeah. I'm not sure, because I don't even know if I like marshmallows enough that it would be a temptation for me.
Yeah, again, I'm not like the biggest fan of marshmallows, but if you put M&Ms or something out there, no, this would be a no-brainer.
Yeah, for sure.
I would have just gobbled them.
Yeah.
But here's why this makes sense. Here's why we want to reference the marshmallow experiment. So the researchers started this when these guys were just little kids. They were like 4 years old. And then they followed them up through several decades.
That's
so
crazy.
This is a long-term research study. And they continued to check in with these kids to see, well, what kind of decision-making and adults did they ultimately become, all right? What happened? And the crazy thing is over the years, the children who passed, in other words, they waited their 15 minutes, they delayed the gratification. They found that of all of those kids, they had better coping skills, emotional coping skills. They were less stressed out about things. They had higher rates of educational attainment, so maybe they went on and got a bachelor's or master's or even doctorate degree. They had higher SAT scores, a lower BMI. My BMI is not too bad, but that would definitely be something.
Well, come on, what's BMI?
Well, that is to show how fat you are. Okay?
Body mass index, right?
Index. And so, but I don't, that's a different topic. I don't even agree with BMI.
Because I ate all the marshmallows.
Yeah. But here's a big one, lower divorce rates.
Wow, that's crazy.
Lower divorce rates. And here's a huge one, lower rates of addiction within this group, this population.
So you're telling me that delayed gratification at age 4 can determine success as an adult in all these areas.
Yeah.
Wow,
and so,
greater success.
So the bottom line came to, when they were all finished with this, came down to this idea of, okay, so we see people with better self-control early on have a better life trajectory with outcomes. But then the question comes, is this something we're born with? Is this hardwiring in us to be able to delay the gratification, or is this something we can teach? And it really it comes out to be, and thankfully it comes out to be both.
Yeah.
All right. Some of us, our personalities are more impulsive, but we also know that it is something that can be taught and learned.
Yeah.
It's a practice. It's a habit.
And Hun, I think this is a great time to stop and to talk a little bit about technology, because I do think, and we've had technology podcasts before, so if you've not heard about the parenting in a tech-heavy world, I really encourage you to go back and listen to this. But, could this be what is creating our huge spike in addictions and all the other stress and anxiety, depression, things that we're dealing with? Because we have a whole generation of children now who've been raised on technology, that when the parents are in the restaurant, when the parents are in the waiting room, when the parents are in the car, that the child is anxious or impatient. And so what do?
Yeah,
we hand them a phone.
Throw them something that can appease them now.
We hand them a tablet. They are all of a sudden immediately gratified instead of self-control of waiting. Like, we don't use it in the car. We don't use it in a waiting room. We don't use it at a restaurant. Our children are almost so addicted that it's hard for them to even put it down and to eat dinner or go outside. And
but from a parenting perspective, this is also immediate gratification for the parent.
Yep.
It keeps the kid quiet. It keeps the kid out of their hair. And so this is, we are only teaching our kids the immediate gratification because of our desire as well. So it's a very much a cultural thing that we have in our country.
And it's rewiring our kids' brains.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Physiologically, I've been reading a book. I wasn't thinking about mentioning this, but Rewiring Your Child's Brain is called by, I think, Dr. Victoria Dunkley. But she talks about this. Like, we can turn it back. We can turn it off. We can step away, and that it will rewire and help our kids with self-control and impulsivity.
So how do we help our parents? How do we help our kids? So let's get into a little bit of the how-tos on this, because, we could debate all day long whether immediate gratification is good or bad, but we see the proof is in the pudding. Ultimately, it ends up being a very costly thing for us. And there's a time and a place for some types of gratification. But how do we teach our kids this? And so I think the good news is this, Mom and Dad. This is a learnable thing. This is a wiring thing. It's a practice thing.
Right.
It's a skill, okay?
And you can start today.
Yeah, so I may have, if I'm talking about an athlete, I may have a more athletic kid, but many parts of athletics are trainable, are something that we can practice and get better at. So whatever your starting point is right now, if you already have a very impulsive kid, which we have been blessed with impulsive kids, but we've seen them come a long way.
Yes.
A long way in everything
painful.
From
very painful,
and we've our immediate gratification does not always get fulfilled.
Like kicking and screaming.
Here's a great article. It comes from Sarah Ramirez, and basically what Sarah did is she went through the marshmallow experiment, and she took 5 takeaways on how we can actually help parent our kids a little bit better through this process. And I think these make sense, and so I think they're worth the mention. But it's called 5 Easy Ways to Teach Your Kids Self-Control and Delayed Gratification. And her website is called A Fine Parent, so definitely encourage you to take a look at some of her work. But she says, from a very early age, so we're talking about, the ages of 2, 3, 4 years old, starting some of these things.
Yeah.
And one of the very first things...
That's so important, by the way. Start early.
Yeah. The very first thing that she says is teach your kids avoidance. Avoidance. In other words, if something is extremely tempting, don't even put it in your life.
Oh, this is true for adults, too.
Yeah.
Don't go to the bar.
And I tell you all the time, because I have a sweet tooth, do not bring that garbage into our house. And you don't have a sweet tooth, so you buy that stuff and you bring it in the house.
Somebody wanted to give me some candy after a shower the other day. They said, take it home. Merle and the kids will eat it. And I was like, exactly.
You don't understand.
I can't bring it home. They'll get mad.
Merle won't eat it. He will inhale it.
Yes.
And then he'll feel terrible. And then he'll get mad at Linda. And then it just gets all ugly from there. The avoidance. Don't put your kids in that situation. There is value to out of sight, out of mind. That can be with candy. It can be with toys. It can be with TV shows.
Technology.
Yeah, technology.
Our kids don't even know where the tablets are.
Yeah, and don't even get your kid the tablet or the phone.
Yeah.
In other words, delay that. And boy, that's, as you said, that's another radio show right there.
Yeah. How about de-emphasizing rewards? We dangle these rewards and we offer and these carrots, but the carrot sometimes all of a sudden isn't enough. Then they want 2 carrots, 3 carrots. And so obviously we're not talking carrots. This is just a metaphor. But, whether it be 1 candy, 2 candies, 3 stickers, 4 stickers, it's never enough. So don't de-emphasize rewards.
This is hitting my little nerve because I'm coming through a school setting where reward. Our last show was talking about self-worth and self-esteem. And so that whole idea of, we have to reward kids and praise kids for every single thing they do. And that makes them feel good, right? And it doesn't become intrinsic. And so this is that whole idea that this finding says, don't get your kids set up in a state of reward, seeking reward for everything they do, because it becomes that immediate gratification. Well, and we've heard kids say this before. You ask them to do something, and they say, well, what do you give me for it? What do you give me for it? What do you pay me for it? What will I get out of it? What gratification will I get out of serving you?
Yeah.
All right. So the next one, how about, we use this a lot, use it at home, use it at the schools, distraction.
Yeah. It's funny because when I was a children's minister, one of the first things I would teach the volunteers is when you get a little toddler that comes in the door, preschooler, and he wants mom and he's scared, and he's crying. What do? You positively distract them. So here, look at this book, look at this toy, come over here and let's play with this car. How about this doll baby? So, that way mom isn't the focus anymore. And so whatever the temptation is to kind of get away from that, train their thoughts to go away from that would help, whether it be go out running, bike riding, get out and do something positive.
Yeah, I use this on a regular basis when I was in the school setting and we'd have a kid who was just set on an idea, maybe having a tantrum, just in a bad behavior way. And you're kind of in this bad position. They are stuck on it. They're obsessed with it. They want it. And so even at a young age or in a situation like this, the youngsters are very good to try positive distraction. Hey, let's go for a walk. What games you like to play? What movie are you watching? Whatever, just something that gets their brain thinking about something besides the gratification.
And let's talk about it as an adult. If you are bent toward addiction, if you have had a lot of temptation of, lustful thoughts or whatever, that same thing happens and applies to you too. So that's when you go for the run. That's when you turn the computer off and, go outside. You got to do something positively to distract you from what's tempting you to immediately gratify that lustful thought or that temptation.
Yeah, we've, speaking of the addiction thing, we've known many people who have broken their addictions by distracting that addiction with a more healthy addiction. Maybe they were addicted to drugs and now they're addicted to exercise, or they're addicted to church, or they're addicted to something that is still, they can't quit thinking about it, but they find a reward in it. And so, but it happens to be a lot more positive.
Well, and hun, we would say be very careful that you're replacing it with healthy things. And we would say that the relationship with the Lord Jesus Christ is the best addiction to have. When you are consumed with that, all of a sudden everything else starts to line up. So I would say even if it's exercise, that can get unhealthy too. Eating healthy, we've seen people that have gone overboard with that too. Like make sure that you put it in the right order and the right priority. And we would say that Jesus Christ can help you be released of all of those addictions and temptations.
Yeah. So this next one is abstraction distraction, which is basically taking whatever it is that they're really attracted to or that they want and have them kind of play a game with it in terms of thinking about it differently. Okay, here's a marshmallow out in front of you. Make something with the marshmallow. Do something with the marshmallow. So now instead of them thinking and having thoughts of eating it, now they actually have a job with it, okay? And so we do that a lot of times with other jobs, like if your kids want to go do something, they have to clean the house or whatever first, and you say, well, let's make a race of it. Let's make a game of it. Let's take this thing that you are trying to get to and let's distract you.
Well, I know that the tobacco industry didn't like this, but when the commercials started to come out of all of the repercussions of smoking and the black lungs and the disfigured faces and stuff like that, that definitely changed the whole perspective of this addiction of smoking. Like, when you saw that, you're like, I don't want to, I don't want to go down that way.
Yeah. And so the last pointer that Sarah gives us, and I think is worth the mention, but this is actually something that goes out of childhood and goes right into adulthood, and I'm going to actually add to it. She talks about self-directed speech. I talk about it like your internal talk.
Yeah, self-talk.
And that self-talk of you knowing what you're attracted to. Maybe it's lust. As an adult, maybe it's lust. And maybe you are finding yourself being attracted to looking at another lady or man. And when you grab that and start talking to yourself, no, I can't do that. I need to stop that.
Yep.
And I'm going to go one step farther. Because we have God as our greatest tool, this is a time for prayer. Teach your kids early when they are struggling with a temptation, with immediate gratification. Teach them to pray about it.
Right.
I mean, we do that with our younger kids just because it allows them to bring God into it, to get strength from the Holy Spirit, but to talk about, dear Lord, please help me. Yeah. Help me that I don't get tempted or that I don't fall to this.
Yeah.
So self-directed talk is just a huge thing that we can teach our kids early on and go into adulthood.
And that reminds me of the story of Jesus being tempted in the desert and how Satan tried to help him see that, you want this, you want to be this, you want to do this. And Jesus, the self-talk was, get behind me, Satan. Like, no, you are not God. My Father is the God. So it was a really important reminder of just how to fight that temptation and that immediate gratification of doing it Satan's way.
Yeah. So hey, those are some good pointers, please. I think that the takeaway from this is, even if you have an impulsive kid, or if you yourself are impulsive, this is a practice of habits and skills that we can work with our kids and our adults even, and getting through this. Here's a challenge for you this week. Just examine your house, examine yourself, examine your kids, and see how much impulsivity is just permeating every part of the day. Whether it's kids, I want my snack now, or I want this TV show, or give me my my phone or computer. Just take note of how much you are trying to deal with immediate gratification. And then don't try to change everybody at once or yourself all at once, because it's just
painful.
not going to happen. Yeah. Start picking and choosing, and start to roll out that whole idea of how we're going to delay that gratification.
Yeah. So that's so important, and I think that God will bless that. It will teach our children and ourselves more self-control and delayed gratification. And we want to thank you out there for listening in Eagle Country, either live or on a podcast. We also want to continue to thank our sponsors, Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance for their support. Without them, Rock Solid Radio would not be possible. So, Hun, we want to thank you. If you ever have any questions or need help, we would love for you to contact us at rocksolidfamilies.org or 812-576-ROCK.
All right, well, we got to wrap it up, hon. It is time to roll. But you know what? I got this crazy hankering for some ice cream. Let's go get some ice cream.
Yeah.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. For help or more information about what you've heard this evening, contact us at rocksolidfamilies.org or call us at 812-576-ROCK. That's 812-576-ROCK. Again, a huge thanks to our sponsors, Maxwell Construction, Greendale Cinemas, Mansfield Insurance Agency, and Erie Insurance. If you have questions you'd like answered on air, or you want to chime in on something you've heard this evening, go to our Facebook page, Rock Solid Families. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to tune in next Sunday evening at 7:30 for another episode of Rock Solid Radio. I'm Linda Hutchinson, and for my husband Merle and I, thanks for tuning in to your hometown radio, Eagle Country 99.3.